Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and today I'm going to talk about How to Train Your Dragon from 2025. In a sense, this could be a more interesting live action remake, as it is, to my understanding, what I can think of at least, the first live action remake from a major studio at least that's made by the director of the original animated film. And it seems that we've had this with both Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon, where you have the directors being involved in both. I semi think this is because, as an animator, you don't get paid for the live action remakes. You just sort of get fucked over. This might have been there, like, hey, if you're gonna use the thing I created, I might as well be getting a check. Possibly that is the case. I think if it is, kudos for both of them for being smart enough to do that. But this is a strange film in that it is exactly like the original. Some differences. The whole plotline with Snotlout and his dad, I don't remember from the original film. And that I thought was kind of a nice little character thing that they didn't have in the original. But this is so like the original. I've seen the original a lot of times. I really like that movie. And I was surprised at how almost identical the script, the storyboards seem to be. Like they just took the storyboards from the original. A lot of the shots were the same, but like worse. And they added some more details, but it's like you're using a fairly solid story, solid screenplay that the original was to kind of make another big expensive movie, and that's sort of what they did here. And it almost feels like, I mean, the plot of it is, the first How to Train Your Dragon again. Should I need to explain that? There's like Hiccup and a dragon, and he trains it. It's the first movie. That's the whole thing. But I think the reason maybe people are into this is it's such a solid script. You're almost sort of, I can see people getting tricked by it. I didn't. This movie sucks. It's more interesting. Maybe it's better than the Lilo and Stitch thing. Is it good or interesting experience or good on any level? Really, not at all. It sucks. It stinks. Like I don't get what is wrong with everyone. Like it's like you took a thing in a fantasy and just made it in live action. Just because it looks more Game of Thronesy doesn't mean it's fucking good. I mean, that didn't even work out for fucking Game of Thrones. You're telling me it's gonna work out for How to Train Your Dragon? There's a lot wrong with this movie. It's sort of, but I think ultimately what Dean Deblis sort of does in this is he almost makes the Star Wars Special Edition, but with How to Train Your Dragon. And instead of like, okay, well, we'll reanimate How to Train Your Dragon so it doesn't look 2010s, it looks 2025 animation. We added some scenes and stuff, which is like, I guess what you used to do in the DVD era or whatever. No one, I don't know, that's a thing you could have done, or what Lucas did. Instead, it's like if George Lucas made Star Wars in a different medium and then put the Jabba scene in there and stuff. That's like what this is, ultimately. It's like, it felt like he was like, oh, well, I always thought it'd be better with this. And you're like, oh, you did? Why did you think that, though? And it's cool to like, oh, you're seeing it on the big screen. Well, I guess that was the Star Wars thing. I didn't feel like that with this. But it really like feels like just a director's cut. And it feels as unnecessary as most of those are. There are exceptions, and like I understand artistically if they want to do that, that's okay. I don't have to enjoy them, and a lot of times I don't necessarily. But I just think this felt like that. Like it felt very superfluous because of that. But then you get to the casting and the acting, which is pretty bad. There's two parts that I'll give credit to. I think that would be Julian Dennison, who I've seen in other stuff, but he plays Fish Legs. He was sort of well cast, and Nick Frost I thought was, and of course Gerard Butler. He's sort of doing the same thing here. But everyone else, the thing is like they didn't change the script. And if you didn't know, this is a thing they do in Hollywood. When someone is cast in a movie, oftentimes they'll rewrite the movie, particularly a star, but like they'll rewrite it to be more close to their strengths as a performer. So, that way it works out and the movie sings a little better, and it's a smart idea, frankly. In this, they just take the How to Train Your Dragon script again. And in the original, they had comedic actors like Jay Baruchel, Jonah Hill, Kristen Wiig, to a much lesser extent, T.J. Miller, Christopher Mintz-Plasse. Like, they had everyone in the, other than America Ferrera, who also is a sitcom comedic actress to her own right, had a history of being a comedic actor or was a comedian. They don't do that other than when they cast Julian Dennison, who I do think that was smart casting, and Nick Frost was smart casting. The rest, they don't do that. They get like pretty people, or they just get other people. And I was like kind of confused, like, why didn't you rewrite it? Like the part where they said, like, why are you gesturing to all of you? That was a joke. Like Jay Baruchel knows how to sell it as a joke. Like, ha ha, he's gesturing like all of you is the problem. In this, it comes off as like he wants to cry. And also, this is a big thing I have, and it's also the problem I have with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Don't get people who, you know, can get laid without having a super secret thing with them as nerds. Like that's you're ruining the casting. Like there's a physical point to some of these characters, and like Hiccup's supposed to be a dork. Like no one was gonna have sex with Hiccup before, and like this kid looks like he would be fine in high school. He looks like his CD collection has a Beatles album and an album that's greatest hits of someone, but that's beside the point. It's just like they look too attractive, and it like fucks up the whole thing, particularly him, because like I don't believe he's a nerd at all. And it's the same thing with Andrew Garfield. Like you took away, why would you take that away from Peter Parker? Why didn't you write it as a different thing? And then they don't, and then just looks extra stupid. Like you have to cast correctly, and they really just went after pretty people. That and Nico Parker as Astrid, like I just felt like she kept messing things up, but she kept messing things up because they didn't write it for her. So it's like the film was against them, and they were not well cast anyway. So it's like nothing was working there. I didn't understand why you'd cast these people in this movie other than that like they're pretty. I mean, okay, it's Hollywood. I'm sure you can get lots of pretty people, but like I didn't understand why they were cast at all. It was like a bad decision on the studio's part, and they weren't very good in it either. There's a part where Astrid says "go," and I noticed like Nico Parker seemingly fucked that line up, which was in a sense actually it takes some talent to fuck that up. So I actually think she did well in not doing good. But no, Mason Thames is so bland. It's like next level in terms of like I don't understand like what was cool about this. Did people think he was attractive and that's why you cast him because he's not good for the part or interesting in the part or does a good performance? Like there's so many decisions where like this didn't have a true creative spirit to it, and even did things worse, like the flying in particular. When I saw the first one, and Roger Deakins was a major advisor on the cinematography look of the original. He's done that with various other animated films like WALL-E and stuff, but when he did on How to Train Your Dragon, it really looked cool, and they knew how to shoot flight like in a film background, and everything from like Wings to Top Gun to I saw it all in there. I thought it was amazing. And like particularly like if you ever want to shoot flight, if you didn't know, have the camera facing like it's facing on me now, but like if I was the pilot and you see the background behind me, it looks thrilling and amazing. It looks like a view you can only see in a movie. They don't do that in this. It looks, they never have a cool shot of him flying as well as the animated one. You'd think because technology has definitely advanced in 15 years, you could do that. They don't. It just looks worse actually by every degree. And I thought like, well, who'd they get to shoot this? Until I found out it was Bill Pope who shot them all the Matrix movies and Spider-Man 2 or 3. Maybe 2 and 3, and then he shot Team America and Clueless, and he's one of my favorite DPs. He shot The World's End, Baby Driver, I think, Scott Pilgrim. Like, he's a great DP. He was not good in this. Dean Dabeles did not know how to use him, and it really stinks to me that, like, I saw a badly shot Bill Pope movie. I know he shot Jungle Book. I didn't particularly like that either. I don't like live action remakes very much. Like, they don't offer anything new creatively. I understand people, I always get a comment that says I'm nostalgia blind or should accept it as it is. If I accepted this as it was, I would not like How to Train Your Dragon as much as I do. You know, I wish they had understood the cinematography. What the cinematography of the original is. I almost don't want to see the second one because the second one had so much going on visually. If you're telling me you're going to do this to the second one, that sounds like horrendous to me, because there's always like this cool stuff going on in the background, and it was cool because it was animation and like you had multiple planes of like movement and story, and like if they do that again with this, it's going to look garbage. I mean, they usually just made everything look darker because that's a take, I guess. I really didn't like what they did. It is more solid because it's so close to the original. It's you know, I heard a friend actually told me on 1, 2, 3 movies, they just had the original on there in the place of this film. because everyone felt like it's the same thing, and it is the same thing. It's just like less funny and stuff, but like also kept the script, like just changed the script. Like it just felt like had they gone, like he almost knew he could hang his hat on like the groundwork he did, and he did that. And maybe that's a smart for a first time director and stuff, but it's not smart for like having this be warranted. For this has no value artistically whatsoever. It's like all of them. Like he kind of like, I'm not necessarily totally as offended, or I don't think it sucks as bad as Lilo and Stitch as the Disney stuff, but it just like, it's like, okay, you reached middle of the road, congratulations. Oh god, I like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Why do I have to like sit through this anyway? I don't review these a lot because of mental health reasons, and I get it's just a video of me getting mad, and I like don't. I'm not gonna say, oh, it's fantasy, so I have to like it. I don't have to like shit, but like this is so badly made, and artistically they did not understand what they were doing. Other than, look, there's people in it, which I what are you doing here? I don't know. It's clear to me like the film, Dean Dablos was maybe not experienced enough to really understand what he was doing, because I think as an animator he's a great storyteller, and I think his storytelling was the what worked on this. But as a director, you have to know how to actually use your story, and he relied on that too much, and we end up with a very solid script with a very solid tale told by someone who just has people in it, and it's darker, and it's more like the Game of the Thrones, and that's boring as crap for me. I really like, again, if this is live action's answer to animation, I think animation has won every single time. If this is what your counter is to what animation is, I think you have failed. Please stop comparing your mediums in such a way, and do something actually interesting with it. It's kind of funny when I think of the CG animated things, and like the second one of the early successes was A Bug's Life, which is a remake of Seven Samurai, and the reason it works is because it took Seven Samurai and made them bugs, and that could never happen in any of these live action remakes. They just, it's the same movie, but there's people in it. So my question is, why would I need that? I have the movie already, and I regret that these come out. I regret this movie entirely, but I sort of get what they were doing here, but I just don't like it, and frankly, neither should you. We should expect more from our movies. If you wanted to see How to Train Your Dragon with people in it, I guess you have bad taste and are sort of just ruining space and multiplexes and the cinematic language and all of our culture, so you can have this. So thank you for this, audiences, and that there'll be more of them. And I really don't like them, and I guess this is just another example. I guess I'm not as, maybe less mad, but I don't think they've ever really entertained me, and I don't really think they're worth entertaining anyone else. I really just think these should stop. If you get close to making the animated film, you probably have to ask, why aren't I just watching the animated film? And this film's answer is just nothing. So if you've seen How to Train Your Dragon and you would like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments and subscribe if you would like to.